Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Biggerplate.com. Welcome to Bengaluru. Welcome to Hyderabad. Welcome to Delhi. Welcome to Mumbai. Welcome to India. Since leaving Thailand at the 1st of March, I've been based here in India, meeting with our community members and trying to better understand some of what we see happening in terms of mind mapping growth in this country of over 1.4 billion people. So, in this short video, I wanted to share what we can see, what's getting our interest, and what we plan to do next, while sharing a few Indian sights and sounds along the way. So let's take a look. At the time of recording, we have approximately 7,500 registered members in India, based on those who've added country information to their Biggerplate profile. This makes India the fourth biggest member group on Biggerplate.com, behind France in third place, and having just taken that fourth place from Australia at the start of this year. With our total member community currently now standing at just over 250,000 members, this means India now represents 3% of our total member population. However, it's actually when we look at our website analytics that the importance of India becomes even clearer. Over the last 12 months, we've seen an average of between 6,000 to 8,000 visits from India every month, making India our second biggest source of website visitors behind the USA. In fact, back in 2020, for the first time ever, India actually sent more visitors to Biggerplate than the USA in that calendar year, although the positions have since reverted back again. So for us, India has long been an important region to explore and better understand, and while the pandemic stopped me from getting here back in 2020 as originally planned, I'm delighted to be making my first ever visit here. I'm enjoying it very much. When we look at the software preferences of our members in India, we can see the following information. About 75% of our members in India have actually not selected a favourite mind mapping software in their Biggerplate profile, which might suggest they're not interested to add that information, or it might indicate that in some cases they're not yet decided on a software, perhaps because they're new to mind mapping and still exploring their options. Top of the named software list is iMindMap in India, with 6.2% of our members here choosing this creative mind mapping software developed by the team at OpenGenius in the UK. Leading Indian mind mapping expert and author Manish Dutt has been a long-time advocate for iMindMap here, so I suspect he has had a significant influence on the popularity of this particular software in India through his work. The open source software FreeMind ranks as the second most popular software among our Indian members. Simple, free to download and easy to use, FreeMind continues to attract new users around the world and clearly has some traction here in India, despite being a relatively basic tool for mind mapping. ConceptDraw fills in the third most popular position, with 3% of our members in India choosing this software from the team at CS Odessa in Ukraine. Part of the long-established ConceptDraw Office suite, the ConceptDraw mind mapping product is not perhaps as well known or visible as some of the other mind mapping products out there, but it's a very solid mind mapping tool and has clearly managed to attract a loyal user base here in India. Fourth on the list is Xmind, with 3% of our Indian member community preferring this creative, elegant mind mapping software from the team in Shenzhen, China. With an excellent free product and a well-priced pro product on offer, Xmind continues to attract a large and loyal following of mind mappers, including here in India. So what might we make of these Indian insights? What have I learned during my time here, and what is on the Biggerplate to-do list for India? Well, here are my top 3 Indian takeaways. In terms of the mind mapping software landscape here in India, there are 2 things that get my attention. Firstly, despite an explosion of mind mapping software tools and apps over the 15 years we've been running Biggerplate.com, we've never seen a strong mind mapping software product come out of India. This is surprising to me given that there's such a strong technical and entrepreneurial sector here. We know the technical skills exist, and we can see from our website analytics that clearly there's strong Indian interest in mind mapping. And so it's surprising that no entrepreneur here in India has developed a mind mapping product to try and tap into the local market opportunity. Kathy Kiran, who I met 2 weeks ago in Hyderabad, is certainly trying to change that with the launch of ThoughtFlow, but it still seems strange to me that he's the first person in India to try something in all this time. We wish him well in his efforts, and we'll of course be keeping a close eye on how ThoughtFlow evolves over the next couple of years. The second thing that gets my interest in terms of mind mapping software here in India is the absence, to my knowledge at least, of any regional offices or representatives in India for nearly all of the major mind mapping software companies. As far as I know, only Aludo, the makers of Mind Manager, have a dedicated office here in India to serve this huge local market. In many cases, it's difficult to even identify a prominent partner or reseller for some of the mind mapping software companies. Now, considering the size of the country, the presence of a huge business and tech sector, and the scale of the website traffic we see from India, it's surprising that nearly all of the mind mapping software companies seem to have a relatively small or non-existent footprint here on the ground. Now, whether that type of presence or partner network on the ground is necessarily needed in the modern era of software sales, I'm not sure. But certainly I hope at least that the major players are at least taking the time to visit in person and learn more about the huge opportunities that I believe India represents for mind mapping. You just can't do that over a Zoom call. Secondly, and perhaps my biggest takeaway from my time here, has been to see firsthand the absolute prominence and importance of education in India. Education is both prized and highly pressured. It's a highly competitive arena with huge numbers of students vying for a limited number of places in elite institutions here and abroad, and a high cultural value placed on attainment of qualifications. Whether it's school pupils studying for CBSE exams, college students trying to get into prestigious IITs, or adults trying to crack the tough civil service exams here, there's a premium on educational attainment and a pressure that comes with that. We believe this might explain a proportion of the Biggerplate visitors from India. A number of the search queries that seem to lead people in India to our website are education-focused queries. And so we need to respond by ensuring we have relevant mind mapping resources that align closely with those searches to help people of all ages with their studying and exams. We're already working on creating resources that align more closely with Indian education curriculum at various levels, and this will be just an initial step towards helping those students go further in their studies with mind mapping. Finally, we are fortunate to have a fantastically strong creator network here in India, made up of passionate mind mappers who are creating wonderful mind maps, videos, training courses and more. It's been a real pleasure for me to meet with so many of those creators over the last month for the very first time in person, and we've now got even more exciting projects to build upon over the coming months. Better support for our creator network here in India and listening to what they can tell us about their country is at the heart of our India strategy for the year ahead, and critical to helping more people in India go further with mind mapping. So that's it from me here in India. If you have any questions, ideas or feedback about this video or our work here in India, please drop them into the comments below. My next stop is Austin, Texas in the USA, where I'll be based for the next month. I'll aim to share some USA insights with you shortly, so be sure to subscribe to the Biggerplate channel here on YouTube to stay updated with new resources and insights to help you go further with mind mapping.